Okay, let's look at the presentation together. DeFi Miracles. I accept everything that and call everything that causes bewilderment, that really inspires and excites us a miracle. So miracle is something that goes beyond the normal boundaries and normal limits and goes over them. That's what I call miracles. If you look at those buildings, at those monuments, in Wikipedia about 7 miracles in the world, you can see that those pieces of architecture were not built by normal people. There is something extraordinary in them. So that's what I see extraordinary in DeFi as well. So if you follow our previous lectures, we had 3 lectures in December. This is the 4th one, and I'm trying to squeeze and to synthesize the most important information for you. And I will show you an interesting principle. This is Pareto principle, that 80% of efforts give 20% of result, and vice versa, 20% of efforts give 80% of results. So with DeFi and many other spheres in my life, I'm using the same principle. And I see that principle practically everywhere. When I'm planning some work, I'm just planning to plan, planning to start the work, starting to planning, and so on. But when it comes to a deadline, people just push and do everything by the end of deadline. That's normally what happens in the projects in real life. That's our nature. And if we look at everything, we just do 20% of result with 80% of efforts, and vice versa. With DeFi, relaying this principle to DeFi, I want to use your 20% of efforts to get 80% of DeFi understanding. To do that, I would like to ask you to focusing with you, the 4th lecture now, on the main things of DeFi, which comprise 80% of DeFi. So they are simple. These are DeFi decentralized exchanges and decentralized applications, protocols, so to say. If you master and find out how they work, it will take 20% of your efforts, and you will get 80% of understanding of what DeFi is. So I like this principle, and I'm focusing on that principle and encourage you to do that. So DEXes and DApps, in short, that gives you understanding. Other 20% of DeFi, like synthetics, synths, synthetical assets, and yield farming, they're taking a little bit more of knowledge and more of investigations before you start farming, or before you start doing something complicated. So you can do that later. We can do it later. We have time next year, hopefully, and we will do that next year. So let's focus on decentralized protocols and exchanges. So those are 80%. Then I would like to refresh your knowledge about the key definitions, just quickly on high level, what we have discussed last 2 and 3 or 3 lectures. So what DeFi is: this is an ecosystem of financial applications on top of blockchain networks. So smart contracts are working on top of blockchain. So they're and the applications are working on top of networks according to smart contracts, so to say. Then decentralized applications are based on 2 types of network. So like I mentioned when we were talking about G-Wallet news, so 2 two types of networks are combined in G Wallet, as we discussed now. They are P2P and blockchain networks. So just to reiterate the basic definitions. So, and decentralized exchanges are exchanges that are not taking your deposits before the trading, but you trade directly from your wallets. So you own your funds, and as I mentioned, you probably know the news about the centralized exchanges like XMO and Litecoin. So people are losing money when the addresses are not controlled, the wallets are not controlled, and people just can easily fraud money and steal the funds. So this is very sad story, and nevertheless people are using, and even the warning does not help. People are still sending money, bitcoins, and follow their manipulation. With decentralized exchanges, this is impossible, completely impossible, because you are not losing the control on your money. Of course, you are taking more responsibility, but you are not losing the control. So let's go through all DeFi miracles that I have prepared to you. Of course, this is a very subjective approach. I don't claim for scientific knowledge. This is my specific view and perception of how DeFi has changed the cryptocurrency world and change the attitude to it. So let's dive into each of the principles. First one, the basic one: a smart contract is a document that you can log in with. You don't need any email. As you see, you can connect to a smart contract like I showed you last time on Uniswap. You just connect with your Ethereum wallet or any other blockchain wallet to the service, to the decentralized application or decentralized exchange. You just log in with your wallet. So your wallet is a sort of a key that opens the doors, all doors for you. It's a universal key and private key, of course. In real life, we can't imagine a private and universal key that opens the doors, that identifies you. So this is a very unique approach, and it changes the way people interact with services. If before in the real world, all the services are centralized, and we have to have access to each of them. Now, in decentralized world, your key, your wallet in your smartphone is a universal means that allows you to access everything, all the other services, without any censorship. No one will ban you if you don't do anything wrong that against the protocol. So everyone can do that anonymously. No one can identify you unless blockchain is anonymous. No one can do that. So this is a miracle. This is what makes using the services really, really special and exciting. The next one is very interesting. I have mentioned it before, that a user shares the liquidity but not money. I gave the example of renting, giving your apartment for rent. When you let people live in your apartment for a certain price based on the contract, but you don't lose the ownership of the apartment. You just you still own your apartment. You share only the utilities. You share all the comfort that the apartment gives, but you do not lose the control over your property. So the same happens with with our wallets, with our blockchain wallets. They can be, if of course they are non-custodial. We spoke about those terms. So non-custodial is other wallets that are not controlled by any other third party. Only you and the code, only your seed phrase, only your private key can keep control over the wallet. No one else can help you with that if you lose control, if you forget, or give it to somebody else. So this is completely your responsibility. So let's go to the next miracle. The next miracle is a compound interest rate, or APY, sometimes they're called, annual percentage yield, APY. And you can see that the compound interest is a special term. In simple words, it's an interest, an addition of interest to a principal sum or loan, deposit, or whatever. So in simple, it's interest on interest when you earn interest rate from interest rate. So this is a classical definition of what compound interest rate is. So this is in real world, in classical finance, it's the result of reinvesting what has been invested rather than paying it out. So so that interest rate in the next period is earned above the principal sum that has been initially invested. So in real world and in classical finance, this happens only with advanced traders and investors who are taught and who have enough knowledge, who have enough resources, money, and tools to earn from compound interest rate. This is a top level, top class way to earn money, when people do not invest their money to earn money, but they earn from what has been already earned before. They earned from the earned. So this is a top level in classical trading, on classical exchanges. So and no one of us who doesn't know much, who doesn't have enough financial education, can do that. This is not accessible for all people. But what DeFi does, DeFi gives us this opportunity just for beginners. You only begin, you only learn how to log in with the protocol, with your Ethereum wallet or any other wallet to another protocol or Tron protocol. You can earn the compound interest from start, even if you don't know anything. You may not even know that you are earning a compound interest when you try to play with $100, €100 to play with with a protocol. You are earning a compound interest rate. It is very flexible. It is changeable. It's not constant like in banks. If you deposit something, your interest rate is fixed yearly. Annual rate is fixed. But in DeFi protocols, this is something that is flexible. It can be this week, it can be of that level, and next week, depending on liquidity. I will show you the examples later on, of course. These interest level can be different. So let's go to another miracle, which is connected to it, of course. And complex interest accrual periods are equal to creation of blocks. So Ethereum blocks are created every 8 or 10 seconds if the network is not congested, if the network is not loaded too much. So it shows us that the period of the flexible complex interest can be minimized just to creation of one block. This is a true miracle because in classical finance, in centralized finance, this is absolutely not possible, impossible, absolutely. So the period is quite small. It is equal to only 10 seconds. So this is a miracle. So the interest rate, of course, can change every 10 seconds. If you look at the protocol, of course, they are not changing that much. Otherwise, we would go mad. I will show you how the protocol works. For example, we can have a look at Compound Protocol or AVE Protocol, which is spelled AAVE. AVE Protocol. You can see it in Argent Wallet or in pigdefi.com resource, which shows us the annual interest rate. So this is very complex, and this is one of the most interesting and exciting miracles that DeFi does for us. The next one. I would rather say that this miracle is a sort of marketing miracle to attract more people. DeFi protocols can cover fees. This is possible. This was happening, by the way, in summer 2020. This year, very often when new protocols trying to gain more users and to attract more investors, they just lowered the fees of blockchain operations and transactions. So what they did, they just covered the applications covered that fee. That's very simple for a user. But how it works on technological level, we know that blockchain is stable, it's unchangeable, its algorithms are unchangeable, and they are only interacted with applications which are above the blockchain, of course. So those applications are called relays in the language of programming. They're called relaying. They're giving just another layer, and those protocols can cover the fees that blockchain charges for this or that operation, like in supermarket, when supermarket gives some price reduction, and covers gives some such privilege as to cover the fee. So this is working very well. Especially this worked on summer when the market was still growing, but now they just stopped that. Many protocols stopped that. It was very interesting and exciting to participate. I personally saved on fees quite considerable money when I invested to AVE protocol and Compound protocol. So that was the case in summer. Then one of the key features is a DeFi Constructor. DeFi Constructor is not only does not only the opportunity to connect different protocol into one combination. It's due to ecosystem, because ecosystem gives us compatibility between different products. Like on Ethereum blockchain, all the products are all the tokens are based on ERC20 standard, as you know, and this allows us to build different combinations of services. This is very helpful when we do yield farming, when we take loans and deposit our funds to something else. So we are doing different combinations, and we can use different protocols to do that, to gain profit. For example, to get governance tokens, then to sell them, and to get some fees from deposits when we provide money that we have lended to another protocol, and earn money from them. So it's a combination, it's a complex scheme that allows people to earn money with different manipulations. So this is one of the best miracles that is used for yield farming. And if you want to do yield farming, we will speak about that next year. I will show you some of the examples how the DeFi protocols can be used for yield farming. So this will be happening next year. Then I would say this is rather a philosophical miracle rather than technological. I think that DeFi is more eruptive, more developing something, growing some other markets, some other areas of market, rather than just disrupt it and destroy it. Classical technology, starting from our smartphones, are disrupting other older technologies. So they disrupt it through new services, and all services, old relationships between users and service providers are not relevant. For example, Uber breaks lots of taxi businesses in many countries where people or taxi services were controlling the market. And when Uber comes, they disrupt the old taxi market. And in France, people protest. Taxi drivers protest very hard against this technology, against this service that minimizes the costs for the user, and of course, some other companies are suffering from that. They're losing money. So that's the normal technology. What the normal technology does, they destroy. The same in IT. Every technology is destroying something that has been created before and working before. With DeFi, it's a little bit different. I don't think that DeFi would disrupt banking services. I don't believe that people will not be using banks at all in future, and will be only using decentralized protocols. Of course, they will be using banks, but DeFi creates new markets. That's what I like in it most of all. They create new market when everyone can enter this market. Like I said previously, people can earn compound interest rate, which was not possible before that. So the entry limit is becoming lower with DeFi, and I think this is a miracle that consolidates people and creates new markets without disrupting the previous markets. I think that's a very interesting miracle that shows us how useful those technologies can be for us. Of course, now you need to believe me. I will show you in future how these technologies could help everyone who wants to use those services. Before that, in our classical world, in our centralized world, it was impossible. So now it is becoming more and more possible when user experience, when user interfaces will be more convenient. All right, let's sum up 7 DeFi miracles that we were talking about, and I will just enumerate them briefly, list them briefly, so that we can settle in our minds how they work. So the first one, a smart contract is a document, so you don't need to log in. User shares his liquidity, but not the money, keeping the control of the money in his own wallet. So the compound interest rate is the phenomenon that can be used only in classical markets for a limited number of investors. Here in DeFi, it can be used for many investors. Then complex interest accrual periods are equal only to 8 seconds when the Ethereum block is built, which is very interesting and which is very exciting and not available for everyone. DeFi protocols can cover fees like a marketing tool. You know that wallets can cover the costs to attract more investors, and DeFi Constructor, which allows inside the ecosystem to create a combination of services and do some earning from that services. So in the conclusion of DeFi 7 Miracles, DeFi is more eruptive, I would say, is more consolidating markets or creating more markets rather than disruptive. What I mean, destroying some older markets. Old bank system will not be destroyed, but it will be much more modified. So, and we could have finished with that. But I would like to share with you some other thing, one more thing which will determine the future of decentralized market in general. And this one more thing, I think, will be the most exciting trend in DeFi ecosystem in the future. And this is inter-blockchain solutions. We know that blockchain. There are many blockchains. Ethereum is the biggest in terms of infrastructure. Ethereum infrastructure is sometimes called a world computer, and those blockchains cannot always interoperate or operate between each other. But the solutions are appearing now, like RepBTC, when we just transform and synthesize Bitcoin to Ethereum token, or REN token, RenBTC, which is equal and connected to Bitcoin. And of course, there are some other solutions, for example, Cosmos blockchain and Polkadot infrastructure to connect different blockchains. So this is the trend which we need to follow the next years, and it will bring the blockchain market in general into a new level. So this will be a new type of infrastructure in general, because the ecosystem, when the ecosystem is built by one company, for example, could it be Apple or Amazon or Google or Facebook, it is one case. But if the ecosystem is built by several companies, it can be an issue. With DeFi, the blockchain of different types can be connected to one infrastructure in the future, and that will be a very exciting trend in future, and that will bring the level on the next stage. So I want to thank you all for watching this presentation. I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, or something is not clear, please feel free to ask in the channel. We'll be talking about the latest trend, the latest news, with pleasure with you, and answer all the questions. I like the community that we are in, and I'm very excited to share the best technologies, the best news from the latest technologies with you all. And further on, we'll be talking about DeFi protocols, DeFi infrastructure every Friday. So Tuesday and Friday, 1:30 Central European Time. Thank you for being with us. Bye-bye.